I'm still alive, yeah.
I feel so alive.
Why are you Elvis?
Elvis and Eddie Vedder is the same person.
I'm so sorry, Eddie.
Never seen them in the same room together.
Don't go to Devon. It's episode 37.
That's your best one yet, and it wasn't great.
Is it? I'm waiting for approval.
I love that I sent you the list and you don't even look at it and use the real ones. I don't know what the real one is.
Did you send me a list? Wait, did you send me a list?
Like 2 weeks ago, not last week.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Ago.
Oh,
it's fine.
Sorry.
And then last week we used the Mecha Bingo list and argued about it.
Oh shit! Sorry about that. Well, yeah.
These are more interesting though.
Yeah, showing how Dan can't fucking do the basic human function of rhyming some words or letters, or some numbers with some letters and stuff. Yeah.
I like that you could have gone for heaven, but you went for Devon.
So later on, of course, we're going to be talking about Penny's film Out of the Hat, which was the very 90s go that me and Andy didn't see beforehand, but was a joy to behold, I guess, and we'll talk about that later. But first... So...
I really hope we don't get in trouble for using that because I love it.
No,
it was your suggestion to use it. You said we'd be totally fine.
Well, they don't use it anymore.
Yeah.
I love it.
What did we originally use it for?
This, right?
Was
to
it
reply.
to reply to Twitter beef?
Twitter beef.
Oh, no, it was to reply to Twitter beef. yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
It was the Hogans, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
The Hogans.
Do we want to revisit that, or should we just keep going?
Keep going.
Go listen to like a early episode when we had beef with one of the Hogan's members, I guess. Yeah.
No, the Hogan's girlfriend. It wasn't even a Hogan.
Girlfriend.
Hogan by association.
We love Nick. Love your work. Love your hair. So, right to reply now is if you leave us a review, most likely on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it out for you. Woo! So do that, and we'll give you a shout out. This one from Joseph Humphreys. Thank you very much, Joseph.
Hey, Joe.
Now, you have titled this My Review Part 1. We're a little bit worried how long the review, because you can't really do 2 parts into the review because Apple's, your account, you can't do 2 reviews as one account, essentially. So
is this half a review, technically?
I guess this is half of a review. So... make of it what you will. He gives 5 stars. If you like Bad Friends, Two Bears, One Cave, The Josh Potter Show, Your Mom's House Podcast, Will Ranking Coffee, and Means Breakfast, Where My Mom's at Christina P,
what?
Smack Talk, George Rockwell Smith, Pajama Pants, and Dead Meat.
I like Pajama Pants.
I like 2 of the things. I've only heard 2 of the podcasts.
Wait, there is a list of podcasts. Is that what we've got?
It's a list of podcasts. Then My Fellow Lobsters, Bears, Roaches, Moms, Yammies, and Internet Ghosts. Did we say lobsters? I don't remember if we said lobsters.
Aren't we
I
the
think
Internet
these are
Ghosts?
references to the other podcasts.
Oh, okay, right. Then you might like this absolutely fine Shambles of the podcast. There you go, Dan. He loves boobies, in brackets. This should help with the algorithm to get the podcast to at least number 2 in the podcast charts behind Shagged, Married, and Annoyed. Why number 2? Is that better show?
Well, you're never beating Shag, Married, Avoid. Everybody loves that show. Isn't that...
is that an actual podcast?
Yeah, that's that...
I didn't know.
Which comedian is that?
Chris Ramsey.
Yeah, Chris Ramsey.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Joseph, for your review.
Thanks for your list of other podcasts, Joe.
Thanks for the list of other podcasts that are relatable to ours. But yeah, we appreciate it. Thanks for 5 stars. If anyone else wants to
Do we know any of those podcasts?
I know 2.
Are they movie podcasts?
Your Mom's House is not really a movie. I think it's a general banter. I hate using the word banter.
Yeah,
but
I don't want to be banter.
Bantery podcasts,
A bantcast.
We have proper bants.
A bantcast.
Oh, I was trying to... Bantcast. I don't know.
The unusual bants.
No.
But yeah, if you would like to have your review read out,
thanks, Joe.
Please leave it in the Apple. Or hey, if you want to send us a tweet saying how great we are, I might read that out too. It doesn't really help us much, but hey, I'm nice this week. There you go. Anyway, so guys, I've been doing a little bit of investigation because again, I'm very inspired by some of the features that Andy brings to the table. And again, we were talking about Resident Evil franchise again a couple of weeks ago. And he mentioned the fact that someone died on the set. A stuntman woman died. I can't remember how many.
Someone lost an arm. Someone else died.
So this might be slightly depressing feature, but hey, it might be interesting to some. So it might be a little bit sad, but hey.
It sounds like the right kind of grim for me, if it's what I think it is.
Penny's really going to love it, probably. And some normal people might find it might be a little bit sad. But I went to look up strange occurrences and weird things and sad things, I guess, that happened on movie sets while filming. Some of them are fucking weird, and some of them are just completely bonkers and just like, that's just weird as fuck.
There's a show about this on Shudder, I believe, called Cursed Films, which I'm trying to find.
I didn't steal it. I didn't steal the idea.
I'm just thinking for anyone that is interested. Yeah, we haven't talked about Shudder in ages because I haven't watched anything on Shudder in ages.
Oh no!
Yeah,
we lost our sponsorship with them.
Well, I've been paying them. So if Cursed Films, 5 episodes, The Exorcist, The Omen, Poltergeist, The Crow, and the Twilight Zone movie. So you can find out about the weird shit that happened on those sets if you are so inclined.
Well, I'm about to spoil them, so...
All those movies?
Some of them are sitting here, right? Anyway.
Well, then you don't have to pay for Shudder. You can just listen to them.
Yeah, there you go. Just listen to us. I'm going to start with The Possession. So, one of the films she mentioned, which was a 2012 film. I have not... Have anyone seen The Possession?
Nope.
No, don't think so.
Not my bag.
Apparently it's about rabbis and Judaism and cursed Jewish relics and stuff like that. Apparently it's that kind of film. But while filming, the cast experienced some crazy occurrences. For one thing, the light bulbs kept exploding for no apparent reason. Ooh. Now, when things like that happen, I usually think like faulty light bulbs. Someone actually just bought some shitty light bulbs down in B&Q or something.
Yeah.
Which is how...
Yeah, it's possible.
Like that to me is, yeah, that's a normal occurrences. You know, I leave them on too long, they explode. And then a prop facility mysteriously caught fire and burned to the ground. Maybe not so much a occurrence that should happen often, but
could happen, but yeah.
But they couldn't find the actual cause of the blaze. And then they used and I'm going to butcher this name of a box because I can't. I'm terrible with the English language. That's why being British.
Wait, it's an English word he's going to struggle with.
DYBBUK.
A Dybbuk.
It's a Dybbuk.
A Dybbuk. We talked about Dybbuks.
With the sofa. Killer
sofa.
Yeah, sorry. So a Dybbuk box relic used in the movie was completely destroyed, and the cast and crew actually refused to let the producer replace it for fear that the object was actually cursed. I don't know if it's because some of these involve death, and I don't want to give like, do you believe it's real or not? Because some of them are actually real. I don't want to give that kind of thing at the end, but I don't know. Things like that could happen. Strange things happen. It's weird that I guess a lot of these are horror films, and then the horrorness of filming it, happens on set. Like, that's the weird part of it. I think the majority of these are actually horror films, which makes it really weird.
Yeah. I don't know whether it's just like atmosphere as well.
Yeah, but that's correct. That's everyone being there creating that atmosphere.
Yeah.
If it causes... I don't know.
But
I don't believe in ghosts.
But then do you have like
ghosts.
pretend haunted boxes on like a Seth Rogen movie? I suppose you don't, do you?
What's that referring to?
Like, so if it was real, if the Dybbuk box is real and we believe that it's like a possessed box.
Yes.
Or like, even though they've made like a fake one, like you're not going to...
It's a prop.
Yeah, it's like a prop, but like it's attracted a ghost. You're not going to have like a prop ghost box on a Seth Rogen movie. So like, it's not going to... Do you know what I mean? Like, say like Annabelle, the evil doll.
Yeah.
You're not going to have a pretend possessed doll on a comedy set.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You're not going to actually bring one on. Like, we need.
But yeah, they're usually around horror movies rather than romance movies.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Next one, another horror, is the Exorcism of Emily Rose in 2005.
That was a stupid film. Sorry.
Review done. Jennifer Carpenter, the lead actress, saw her radio alarm clock repeatedly turn itself on during her time on the production. But that's not all. Every time it did, it only played one particular song. Can you guess the song?
Is it Smash Mouth?
Guess.
Oh, that would have been great.
Could you
That'd be
imagine?
fantastic.
If I ever get a haunted alarm clock.
Do you want to keep?
No,
trying to guess?
no, I've got nothing.
No, there's so many songs.
So it's kind of fitting, but it was called "Alive" by Pearl Jam.
Oh.
There you go. Thanks, Petton. The weird part now, that might not be a weird thing because, okay, maybe she fucking accidentally set the alarm. Maybe the radio station always played Alive by Pearl Jam
Yeah,
at
maybe
the
it was a
exact
thing.
time every day. Maybe. But then, soon after, cast members were reporting the exact same thing. They heard the same song too, and they eventually got so spooked that they collectively removed the radios from their hotel rooms. The creepy occurrences stopped, but there was no explanation for how and why the song kept making appearances. Apparently, it doesn't explain from this, but I read up on it like a long time ago. There was a problem with the track. It kept skipping. So all you could hear was Eddie going, alive, alive,
Ooh,
alive, like on
that's
the radio.
terrifying.
Yeah, that is creepy.
Anyway, The Conjuring is based off the true story of the Perron family. In the 70s, they claimed to be tormented by supernatural entities in their home. While a number of the family members spent time on the set, for reasons, I guess they wanted to check up on everything, see if it was legitimate, I guess. The mother refused to go anywhere near it. She was convinced that several unexplained events were proof that the spirits hadn't finished with them yet. For instance, when the members of the Perron family were visiting, a furious wind suddenly rose and seemed to surround them. However, the crew couldn't see any movement of the trees nearby. Oh, maybe they just farted really loudly.
Yeah, that's what it is.
They all fart at the same time. The director also brought his dog along, which also became very agitated.
Oh, dogs always know.
Why would you bring your dog to the fucking movie set? That's
I mean, I wish I
silly.
could take Brody everywhere, so if I could, I would.
That
But
would scare him.
it's not real. Brody loves scary
Bright
movies,
lights
though.
and fucking...
Nah, she's fine. She don't give a shit.
She was watching a documentary about
She was. Brody was watching a Peter Sutcliffe documentary the other
by
day.
herself.
Yeah, I went to the toilet and she carried on watching.
And then the cast's hotel caught fire.
Oh.
So, yeah, that happened too.
Yeah, that's a bit of
So-
a coincidence.
Yeah, maybe the Perron family set it on fire. I'm not saying, I'm
Yeah.
not accusing them. Just maybe they're like...
Depends how
"Ooh."
committed to the bit they
Yeah,
were.
they farted really loudly.
Maybe that's why they
annoyed
went.
the dog so much.
Yeah, it was their brand.
Yeah.
I just find it weird that you would go... I guess if you have rights to the film as the family,
Yeah,
you
I
want to
know,
make
I know.
sure that they're filming it right. Yeah.
You'd want to make sure that they weren't portraying you as a dickhead.
Uncovering your lies. I mean,
Yeah, I guess.
we could just be interested.
I mean, I don't understand why they would not just wait for the final cut, but either way.
Well, they can make changes if they're there, can't they?
I guess so. I don't really know how it works.
Because I don't know if they would have been producers, but I imagine they would have seen themselves as producers.
Yeah. I've been like, that's not right, or you're making me look like an asshole.
Yeah, I guess so.
Change it.
Another weird one. Twilight Zone, the movie, which weirdly, I've seen a bunch of Twilight Zone, never seen the film.
No.
I might have to watch it one day. This is a sad one, because during the production, one of the lead actors, Vic Morrow, was killed. Now, the weird thing about it, which is still not really explained to this day, is he took out $5 million of life insurance before filming the actual film. And the reasoning for it, all the friends and family said he was sure something bad was coming as he had seen it happen in a dream. He also said that the accident would occur on one of his movies. And sure enough, after the filming started, he crashed in a helicopter. He died. And it was later discovered that the concept artist had initially drawn an almost identical scene for his death, actually his actual death, which is weird.
That's spooky.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
On a plus side, he also dreams of work, so I'm not the only
So
one.
my dreams don't come true, and I'm
Yeah.
very disappointed by that.
But I mean, at least I guess he took out life insurance at the right time. So if there's an advert to take out a good time to take out life insurance,
As long as they weren't like, no, he did it himself and they paid it out. Because that'd be rubbish, wouldn't it? If you're like, I'm really worried I'm going to get hurt at work, so I've taken out life insurance here, and then you did. And they'd be like, no.
I just call in sick that day.
Did that helicopter crash not take out like 2 kids as well?
I think it did.
I don't know.
I think
I'm sure
it
it
did.
did, yeah.
I feel like it crashed into people, I think.
Yeah,
Oh, did
I think
it?
so,
oh,
yeah.
okay, right.
yeah.
Okay, so that's the sad one.
Yep.
So Sorry, but yeah, some of these are sad, but they're also there's ones that are truly like, I'll get to the one in a minute that really kind of fascinated me, but is also sad. But it's kind of just strange how it happens. I haven't seen this one as well. The Amityville Horror?
Amityville.
2005?
Amityville Horror.
Which
can't pronounce
one do you know? It's been a few.
With Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, filming was delayed when a dead body washed up on shore very close to the set. Okay, that's fucking weird. Just before fucking filming, that happens. Cast and crew were pretty shaken, but they decided to continue with the project. A little later, Reynolds and several other people were creeped out when they couldn't stop waking up at a specific time, 3:15 a.m. to Alive by Pearl Jam. No. Just Eddie keeps pranking everyone.
Yeah, it's not Ghost, it's Eddie Vedder being a prick.
He's got a Greatest Hits album coming out. He's trying to get those sales.
He had to promote it somehow. Just so happens that this is the exact time the murders were depicted in the film.
And in real life.
Really did happen and occurred in real life.
Yeah.
Didn't know about that.
They didn't film it at the real...
That'd be fucking scary.
I don't know, did they film it at the real house, that one? I feel like I'm asking you and I should know.
I don't think they did,
though.
I don't think they did, but they rebuilt the house.
It's the exact kind of look of it, right?
It's a very...
I remember them saying they rebuilt it.
It's distinctive.
Yeah, that's the word.
So didn't the actual, like, crimes happen
In the
there?
house, yeah.
Then it got sold on, and then, like, a couple of
happened to
decades
someone else.
later, it happened again.
But then you can never really be sure whether it happened again or whether it was a copycat or...
Yeah.
Psycho from 1960, I didn't know about until I read it, and it's really strange. So during the filming of Psycho, a body double for the star Janet Leigh was murdered on set.
Ooh.
So her body, I think she's the main...
She's the one in the shower.
Yeah.
Female, yeah, that's her, yeah. Was murdered on set. It was later discovered that a handyman working on the production had killed the woman to impress director Alfred Hitchcock.
Wow, that's almost not surprising because he was a fucking nut job.
He was mental,
Wow.
so that's not unusual.
Yeah.
He was horrible to Janet. He was horrible to everyone.
Yeah.
Was Janet Leigh in The Birds?
No, that was Tippi Hedren, I think.
That's the one. And he was awful to her. Like, he threw real birds at her and she got really hurt and stuff. When she's in that phone box, like, they're actually chucking birds at her and she was traumatized and injured and stuff. He was a prick.
After the tragedy, Hitchcock delivered one of his famous speeches. He gathered the cast and crew together and informed that they now all had the motivation needed to finish the movie.
See, he was a prick.
See, yeah, he's not a good dude.
It just goes to show that there are plenty of scary monsters out there in real life too.
Well, he's dead, so that's fine.
He's a bit like Kubrick, though, isn't he?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Neither of them are good people, but they revolutionised the film.
I've just realised Dan's talking about horror movies and it's just made me really happy.
I mean, it's the weird thing about like looking all this up is that the majority, with the exception of I think 2 or 3 towards the end, they're all mainly focused on horror. It's just strange that they have all been. I mean, there's other ones that they probably haven't highlighted that I haven't found yet. But either way, The Omen in 1976. This one is fucking tragic. This one is.
Didn't Gregory Peck nearly die?
There's a lot of shit that happened. So,
and his kid died as well, didn't he?
as filming began, the lead actor found out that his son had committed suicide. Then a crew member was almost killed in a car accident while driving to the set. And in a similar twist of fate, the scriptwriter almost crashed his airplane when he was hit by lightning, of all things.
I mean, the lightning is in the air. Like, it's not like he got almost hit by a whale.
Yeah, what are you expecting?
Yeah, but the chances of it happening. I mean, there's a lightning story later on that is even more fucking weirder. But anyway, later a third airplane accident kills several members of the crew when it crashed into the road.
Just makes me feel like airplanes in the
60s.
60s, 70s, whichever one it was, were not very good.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, I don't know, but like, I just found it strange.
I mean, ghosts, keep doing what you're doing. Just do it away from me. I'm into it, but I'm skeptical.
Filming takes place usually, let's say average 6 months to a year. Like, so within the space of that time,
a lot of stuff to happen.
Many people died. Yeah, it's just strange for all that to happen during a time.
It's not just one person, is it? There's hundreds of people on a film crew. So the more people, the more the odds go up.
I suppose.
Yeah, they still don't believe in internet ghosts. Mm-hmm.
No, I do. I believe they're real. I just want an explanation.
How they use printers.
Anyway, this one's probably one of the most famous one. The Crow, Brandon Lee, who's the son of martial arts actor and legend Bruce Lee. So he was killed after a prop gun malfunctioned during a scene, and somehow it ended up shooting a real bullet, and the actor later died from his wounds. Was it because from what I remember, one of the guys who was the actual prop expert, was he testing it with a real? I thought I heard someone saying he tested it with a real bullet, forgot to put it out or something like that.
So I think what they do, or what they did then, was they used to use real bullets but take the gunpowder out.
Yeah, I think so.
I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So they would just use the shell, or they would use the casing but not the shell.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Casing, not the...
But you get shot with a casing, you're still getting shot.
Yeah, it's not, it's not good. And it doesn't take a lot, like, to... Even if you got shot with it and you've got bullet, you get hit in slightly the wrong place or whatever. It's not going to do you much
I haven't
good.
seen The Crow in a while, but what was do you guys remember how they got around filming that? Like finishing the film if he died, or is that
they put him in a lot of shadows. I think they'd done most of the actual work with him in makeup, and it was the stuff near the beginning where he was sort of in the shadows and stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
I see.
I haven't seen it in forever either.
I have a few more. This one is possibly one of the creepiest one. In 2013, there was a film called Return to Babylon. Don't know if anyone's seen it.
No.
So the making of this is the weird part, but then what happens afterwards kind of coincides with the making. So it started when two directors found a 60mm film just outside Hollywood sidewalk in LA. They found this just on the ground and they picked it up, and they couldn't find the owner, so they took the box home and decided to build a clever plot around it. So there was this weird...
This sounds like that shit movie I watched.
Yeah, it does.
The Reality. Remember they found...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they found a load
it
of...
might be based off it.
Yeah, they found a box in a dumpster and it was footage of that guy's terrible reality dating show.
Yeah.
And they turned it into a shit movie.
I might have to watch Return to Babylon just because I'm intrigued by this whole concept of where they found this footage. And then they tried to make... They actually blended the footage on the reel that they found with new footage. But the scary part is, once they started to combine the footage with new content, strange things happened. The faces of the actors became
editing ghosts.
Mysteriously and grotesquely distorted. There's a picture here and it's fucking scary. Also, unidentified figures appeared in the shots. Perhaps most interesting is that a group of film experts could not provide an explanation to any of this at all.
Oh, now I'm in.
I might have to... 2013, like...
It's not long ago.
It's weird we haven't heard about this film because it sounds really scary and weird that they blended two things together. I like that. I like when reality actually comes a part of a movie, like scariness of it. But last few, Apocalypse Now, everyone got sick.
Yeah.
Everyone. The director, Francis Ford Coppola, didn't have an easy time. The project was so troubled and plagued by bad luck, he may have or tried to attempted suicide. The constant rain decimated the set, and injured crew members were left washing their wounds with vodka.
Oof.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think anyone on that film had a nice time, did they?
No.
Charlie Sheen got a seizure, right, as well, I think.
Oh, did he?
From what I remember. He had a fit or a seizure. I can't remember.
Was that not just all the drugs he was on, though? Or was that, I suppose, maybe that was before all the drugs?
1979, man.
I don't know.
It's Martin Sheen, not Charlie
Sheen. Yeah, it is Martin Sheen. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Is it Martin Sheen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Michael Sheen?
No, it's Martin.
No, Michael Sheen is
Charlie
the man.
Sheen's dad.
But Charlie
Martin
Sheen's
Sheen.
dad is Martin Sheen. Oh. Who's also Amelia Estefez's dad with a different lady. That's why they don't have the same last name. Movie facts.
And then the last one here, which is the one that kind of led me to do this fine research of sadness, I guess. I heard about this a long fucking time ago, and it still is one of the... It's not exactly weird because it's just the way that everything transpired after the movie came out. There's a movie called The Conqueror, and it was filmed in 1955, and it was about Genghis Khan. There's a biopic about Genghis Khan. The weird thing about this is after they filmed it, people started dying. Like, a lot of people, including most of the main cast, Wayne and Susan Hayward. They were only 57. They died of cancer or heart-related diseases. These were just the people involved in the production. It died many others, including relatives of the Wayne and Hayward families, who were also been on set, later developed cancer, but survived thanks to treatment. In total, of the 220 people involved in the film's production, 91 later developed some form of cancer something that the University of Utah called an epidemic. Now, the reason why this happened is because where they were filming in, they didn't know at the time, or there's a conspiracy to thinking that they did know and they just did it anyway.
Didn't tell anyone.
They were filming at a nearby nuclear testing facility.
That would be the most logical.
That would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, to me, was like, what the fuck?
I feel like that's less ghosty, that one. That makes sense.
When was this made or released?
55.
Didn't know as much, possibly, or they did, like you said, they did know. Like,
it was shot 137 miles down the road from the Nevada military site where 11 nuclear weapons had been detonated just 2 years before cameras started rolling. So even 2 years before, that's fucking scary.
That'd do it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That freaked me out. And yeah, so that's a happy segment. Usually I go with happy segments, and that's a happy segment from Dan. And that's some of the weird shit that's happened on film sets.
I feel like you forgot a jingle for that, but maybe we'll put that in post.
I don't think I could put a jingle to that.
We have a horror jingle.
Without being like tasteful about it, I don't think I could put a fucking jingle to that at all. But
put in the theme from Holby City.
The theme from Holby City?
Nah, the one from Casualty's better.
What the fuck is wrong with you two? Have some respect. Jesus Christ. Anyway, that's my depressing stories from set. Penny.
So I had a look at my little list of movies. Chucked a couple up on Instagram. Thank you to everyone that voted.
Yeah, me too.
You did. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Andy did.
There was a vote.
There was a vote.
Yeah,
it was on
you missed it.
Our Instagram and my personal Instagram.
Sorry.
I know you're not big on Instagram, so...
He's a keen checker of the Instagrams.
Put it on Twitter, I'll be all over that shit. But on Instagram, that's your bag. You two do that.
Well, the options were control, as in CTRL, if we're looking at a keyboard.
Wait. You got to give context to why you picked those two films first, because I got excited by this.
Well, yeah, so I was going through my list of movies, and I've only written down the names, so I have to go through and look for the synopses every time I pick one, which is really annoying. And I found two that were kind of gamery, for lack of a better word, to try and impress Dan and improve my filthy casual status.
Oh, yes.
Because, before we had Killer Sofa and Bed of the Dead, so we had two kind of gamery ones. I'd tell you the synopsises, but my Instagram has now crashed. So that's great. But one was called Control, which was... Oh, I'm going to have to read the synopsis because it made it sound really good. Spoilers, it wasn't.
Let me go for you. Is this 2018 Control?
Yes.
It is a programmer, his sister, and her new boyfriend are held hostage by a rapidly evolving computer virus.
Sounds great. Well, I say great. Sounds funny.
Yep.
Or there was Play or Die. Welcome to Paranoia, the ultimate escape game. Lucas and Chloe, two passionate gamers, decide to participate in Paranoia, a very exclusive escape game. You guys picked Control. I watched Control.
Yay, I picked Control.
Shit, man.
Well, I wasn't expecting it to be fucking Oscar worthy.
We know how this works. I thought it'd be like, my God, it could be great. Like a killer virus is holding them hostage. That could be really fun in a really stupid way. This was it was only an hour and 20 minutes, but it felt like 8 years. It was the most pretentious, wanky, boring film I have seen in a long time.
That says quite a lot.
Yeah.
Considering what else we had to watch this week.
Yeah, fuck off.
Shots fired.
I wrote loads of notes, but...
Okay.
It was
you have 30 minutes.
Yeah. Not a lot. Basically, there's a guy called Drew.
The virus.
Yeah, there's a guy called Drew and his girlfriend Lex, and they go to her brother Leo's house for his birthday.
Okay.
Leo and Lex are a little bit weird. Turns out Lex is adopted. She hadn't told Drew this. They get there and Lex and Leo are of different races. So he's like, oh, I didn't know you were adopted.
Right.
And she's like, yeah. And they're a little bit weird together. They're a little bit sexy together. It's quite awkward.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just a little bit too touchy-feely.
What, like hugging or kissing?
Hugging and just kind of heads against each other, and they talk to each other in French a little bit, and they're blowing each other kisses, and there's just a little bit of a weird vibe.
Maybe they're kind of like that, that family. Yeah. Everyone has that family.
Yeah.
Touchy-feely.
Do they?
You know the ones.
So, yeah.
I don't know if I do.
I feel like I'm gonna speed through this. So just
everyone knows someone who's a bit like huggy and stuff. You know what I mean?
It was weird. It was not massively important to the story, but Drew does get a little bit jealous. So it is a bit. I was like, oh, I didn't imagine that. And they have put that in there. And Drew and Lex are in bed later on. They're staying over at Leo's house, and he's like, oh, you didn't tell me you're adopted. Like, what else am I going to learn? And she's like, I'm pregnant. And then she's like, it's a joke, but we need that later. So Leo is having Leo is having a fancy dress party, and it's a weird gamery key party. It looks like it anyway. He's got a bowl full of these weird looking USB keys that all say Daisy on them.
Okay.
And
I remember my first USB party.
No. And it's, I don't want to say it's stylized because that makes it sound better than it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of close-up shots. There's a lot of dialogue that's really pretentious and wanky. I don't even want to...
Is it drawn out? Is it just drawn out shit that's make the film longer, maybe?
Probably. I could probably sum up the whole film in 5 minutes, but we need to pad this out a little bit more. So, so it's a bit eyes wide shut with all the masquerade masks and things.
Okay.
And Leo's like, oh, I know, normally you guys are here for some sort of hack or some sort of trick, but this year we are the virus. And everyone grabs a key that says Daisy on it.
Acid burn. Form up.
Don't put those two together. No.
I'm so excited by this. I'm ready to go. This is exception for a penny film. I'm actually excited to hear about this.
It was so bad.
Which is weird because normally I'm excited, but this week I'm going down the hole. I'm like,
poor Andy has a headache.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. So after the party, they're still staying there. Drew wakes up and Lex is gone, and he sees her in Leo's bed. They're not doing anything. But they're asleep in the same bed.
That's her brother, right?
Yep.
Weird.
Yeah, the touchy-feelies. Yeah.
And then we just cut to, like, I think they make it look like he opens the door, he kind of sees them, then he shuts the door, and then the next bit is him making a cup of tea, which I assume is in the morning. And Leo's got this whole big computer set up. So he's got a computer which has a skull on top of it because he's so cool. And then there's fucking screens everywhere.
What's he rocking? What's he rocking?
A bunch of screens and a keyboard. And
is RGB lighting?
Yeah, that's the question. RGB?
I don't think it was.
No RGB?
No. There's a lot of screens.
3 fridges?
No fridges.
Okay.
It's all in a big metal shelving unit thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Drew goes up to one of the screens and touches it, and it's sticky.
Oh no, what's he been doing to the screen?
Stereotypes.
Not that kind of sticky.
Oh, wow.
But he like touches it and it's like, it's kind of wet. It's got like a kind of, he's got something on his fingers basically. Like you can hear him touching it. Like it makes like a wet noise. And he goes and washes his hands, and then you see black stuff going down the drain. And I'm like, okay, that's probably the virus. I can feel like I can see where this is going because I'm like, okay, the virus is trapping them in the house. This is what I've got from the synopsis.
This sounds like the film you watched where someone fucked an arcade machine.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Don't talk about that one. That was like body horror, but with an arcade machine, and it was
with sticky buttons.
It was squelchy. Yeah. That's the only word I've got for that movie. I forget what it's called. It's on Shudder, but it was squelchy.
Maybe it's a kink.
Penny's kink.
No.
What, squishy buttons?
Oh, stop it.
I don't know. I'm just asking the questions here. Jesus.
So then they spend most of the movie inside this flat. So there's a lot of bollocks. Right. Drew asks Leo, he's like, what do you do? And he's like, oh, I live and breathe. Like, it's tough work, but good if you can get it. Like, he's a really vague, annoying prick.
I live and breathe.
He sounds like a pretentious fucking dickhead.
And breathe.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I'm hoping the guy's a good, like, if the guy's nothing like that in real life, he's a pretty good actor, to be fair. He looked like a mix of, he reminded me of Jamie Dornan and a guy called Nico who's in a bunch of TV shows. He was in the Scream TV show. No, he wasn't. He was in Scream 4. I can't remember his last name though. Anyway, so the sticky stuff that's gone down the sink starts coming back up the sink.
Uh-huh.
And Drew sees it and he's like, oh, there's all this shit coming up the sink. So he takes is it a U-bend under the sink or is that just toilets? Genuine question.
I mean, you could have a U-bend on the sink if you want.
You're asking the wrong people.
It's just a bend that's shaped like a U.
Yeah, so I was like, is that a U-bend or is that just... I don't know if that's a toilet. I'm not a plumber, so I don't know. Sorry. He pulls the pipe out and it's full of mealworms. I'm pretty sure they call them maggots at one point, but I'm pretty sure they were mealworms. Maybe maggots are more expensive. I was really bored in this film, so there's lots of weird observations. And of course, Leo has a microscope. So he starts looking at the mealworms in the microscope. Because, you know, all gamers have microscopes, right?
Most of them need it.
Yeah. Oh, plenty. Fucking shit ton behind me right here.
So Drew wants to leave. Lex doesn't. And then all the power goes out and the door is locked because Daisy does not want them to leave.
Daisy the virus.
So Daisy was on the USB.
Yeah, so Daisy is the computer setup that he has. And then it turns out he kind of like did an experiment and put her on a bunch of USB keys and gave them to all his gamer hacker friends.
So he's putting the virus on a USB drive, giving it to everyone at the party.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he gives them all a virus. Why?
Well, eventually you find out that they're all hackers, but you don't find that out till like the last 10, 15 minutes.
I'll be honest, he sounds like a dickhead.
Yes. So, yeah, Daisy's this big computer setup and she's locked them all in the flat. There's no signal, obviously, because that's how they get trapped in the flat.
So wait, hang on. Sorry. So Daisy can... We're getting into internet ghost territory here.
Yep.
Daisy can control the flat.
Yeah, he's got... It turns out... As I'm going to skip... It turns out that he owns the entire block of flats because Lex is like, well, we could bang on the walls or we can bang on the walls and stuff and someone will... Like, how do we get out? And he says, well, unless one of my friends comes over, like the hackers, then we can't get out. But she's like, we could bang on the walls and stuff. And he's like, no, nobody lives here. They inherited the flat and he kicked everybody, like he evicted everybody. So he's the only one that lives there. And I guess because when you find out at the end that he's like head of this hacker ring, he's got like super security doors. But you don't know this at the time.
Right.
I'm going to say it again. He sounds like a dickhead.
I've just put, they can't get out unless someone lets them out. No neighbours. They own the whole block. Reasons.
I just find it weird that, this hacker inherited a whole entire block just from family?
Yeah, from their pet, from their dad, yeah. Because that's the thing, you can guess that he's a hacker, but it's not really clear.
What does he hack?
We will find out.
Oh, I'm excited.
So then to pad out this hour, and I'm like pretty sure they set it up for maybe 20 minutes at the beginning, and then maybe stuff happens for 20 minutes at the end, and then the bit in the middle is some stuff and bullshit. So they have to talk about Drew and Lex.
That's how films work.
Yeah. But like pointless bullshit.
Right.
I don't know how long they're in this flat. I'm assuming it's days. You can't really tell. There are passages of time, but it literally could all be one day. It's really badly done. Drew and Lex talk about how they met, and then Lex talks about their childhood. Lots of close-up shots of stuff like spiders eating flies, blood, and sharp, like holly leaves. It's that kind of... They're talking about their childhood, and there's a shot of a spider eating a fly. Oh, how original.
Is that a metaphor?
Probably. You're the one that's supposed to tell me these things.
No, I'm just trying to go through, because you said the whole close relationship between the sister. Can I ask now, before you go on, does that play into the ending? Don't say what it is, but does that whole close relation... Okay, fuck it then. No. It makes no sense.
Pointless.
It's pointless. Absolutely fucking pointless.
They're playing games to pass the time, and some of the black sticky stuff starts to appear in like the corner of the room in the ceiling, like kind of black mold.
Okay.
And then Leo tells everybody that Daisy is the virus because they haven't worked that out yet. He's telling them that. And Daisy stands for the 5 laws of something. I don't know what he said. Not gonna lie, I have written down the laws, but I had to turn the subtitles on because I didn't know what the fuck he was on about. So D...
can't wait.
I still don't know what he was on about. Spoilers. D stands for distribute being. The whole is the sum of its parts. So that's what the D stands for. This is the 5 rules, the 5 laws that I think he says everyone should follow. Or some
5 commandments.
Pretentious stuff.
Let me just write these down.
Yeah, I need to know.
So you have to distribute your being. He talks about...
Distribute your being.
Yeah, he talks about like bees and beehives. Because, you know, the sum of its parts. A is to accept errors. I is to inherit the wind.
What?
Inherit the wind. This is why I had to turn the subtitles.
Inherit a block of flats, more like, but yeah, okay, inherit
Also,
the wind.
If he's a hacker, you don't want to accept errors.
No.
Because then your script doesn't work, so that's bullshit.
Yeah. But apparently inherit the wind is to cause unrest and invite chaos. I don't know what that's got to do with wind, but okay. S is for sacrifice form for function. And
Sacrifice form?
Yeah, I think he did kind of explain it, but he explained it in such like pretentious terms. I didn't.
He made a virus. This isn't...
No, that makes sense. No, I get that. Sacrifice form for function, I'm with that.
Y is to yield increasing returns. And the next note just says, God, this is Ponzi.
Oh, fuck off.
He didn't say that, I said that.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I'm like, fucking hell, this is so Ponzi. The blue-black stuff starts coming out of the taps, and then there's moths everywhere. The moths start attacking Leo, but luckily, Drew goes under the sink, pulls out a can of stuff that literally says, like, moth killer. There's a big close-up of the moth killer, and they spray the moths and they kill the moths. But
I thought he said moss, like mold.
No, sorry,
or like
moths with wings.
I was like, if it's just moss, just pick it off and chuck it out of the window.
Silent S.
Yeah, no, the moths attack him and then they spray them and they kill the moths. But one of the moths has bitten Leo in the head. There's like a fucking great crater, bug bite.
I hate when that happens.
In the side of his head. Next note just says, when I was a child, I performed open heart surgery on a neighbour's cat. Turns out that was part of 2 Truths, 1 Lie that Leo was playing, but it turns out they were all lies. I just started writing down Ponzi things that he said, but then I ran out of paper. They've apparently been there long enough now. You don't see them sleep, ever, I don't think. They start being dicks to each other.
So is this a film about them just living in a flat that they can't get out of?
Yeah, so far.
I thought it was going to be about computer... Like, I thought it was going to be an offshoot of Hackers, where it's just so silly about the hacking. But no, it's just living in a flat.
Why can't they... If it's all like an automated system, why can't they just hack into it? That's their fucking job.
Yeah.
Well, the Drew and Lex are not hackers. It's just Leo. And Leo's like, I can't because...
I'm too lazy.
There were reasons. He said that he can't do anything because of something, but I didn't understand it and I didn't care.
Okay, cool.
I bet it was something pretentious, like you can't deny the free will of a being, even if they're artificial or not.
Probably.
He's following the code of Daisy.
Oh, they do sleep. Sorry, I lie. They do sleep. Because Drew wakes up and he's got like black... It looks like a branch, but it's got like holly leaves on it. They look like holly. They're very sharp. Everybody touches them and goes, ow! Like they start bleeding. But they're like sticking out of his mouth. He wakes up and he's got like a bunch of them in his mouth and you have to pull them out. Like they're not just they're not just in his mouth. They're also a bit further down his throat and he has to pull those out.
So now it's like Saw?
A little.
How do they get in there without him waking up?
Don't know.
If he's got a load of these mates who are hackers, why doesn't he just send them an email and say, can you...
that was it. He's... fucking hell. Lex says, why don't we just use Daisy's internet? And he goes, because it's computer term. And she's like, what? And he's like, because it's not connected. But like, I can't remember what the term was. And I know I'm not gamery, but I'd never heard it before.
Its ping was too high?
No pings this week.
Oh.
But he's like, it's... blah blah blah, and uses a technical word, and she's like, what? And he's like, oh, it's not connected. It's like, you fucking prick.
It's Virgin Media.
Hey, don't be saying that about Virgin Media. I've had no problems.
Oh, the broadband service providers.
So they get the microscope back out and they look at the mealworms, the moths, and the leaves, and apparently they are all fractal.
Okay.
Right.
Next note just says, kill me. The leaf the leaf is generating its own electricity. So Daisy is making the mealworms, the moths, and the leaves.
With electricity?
Yeah, with fractals.
Okay.
She's taking the information and now she's making stuff.
Yeah, but...
No. Just let it keep
She's
going.
a 3D printer? I don't know.
Okay.
So Drew's like, fuck you, unplugs the computer. Leo's like, no. And then you get a close-up shot of like circuit boards and stuff and the blue-black sludges on it and it's seeping over the circuit boards and then she turns herself back on. Yep. Leo's bug bite is getting worse. This is why I don't know the passage of time. So it's getting bigger and blacker and red. Okay. It doesn't look like it's kind of starting to spread. So he shaves his head.
He shaves his head? What's that going to solve?
Whoa. Yeah.
There's just a shot of him like sitting there. Lex is shaving his head and he's talking bollocks.
Hang on. Does he have hair? Like a lot of it?
He has like a normal amount of hair.
What's a normal amount of hair?
Like if Dan just suddenly shaved his head.
So if I had that on my head, I would brush my hair over to hide it, not shave my head so that it's more visible. Like, why would you?
It's getting worse.
Okay, but like,
I don't know.
Why does he want to see it more? Is what I mean.
I think
maybe
we
they're
need to
doing
see
it
more.
to see how it measures.
Well, so far all they're doing is putting Savlon on it. It's not doing anything. There's lots of shots of Lex putting Savlon on it for him.
Okay.
Leo and Drew play chess. And then...
Oh my god, what is this fucking film? This is so
Because
boring.
the computer is playing chess as well a lot of the time. Like, I think the point is it's starting to become sentient and it's learning things. Because I think later on it, like, he talks about Shakespeare and he's like, I taught Daisy, like, I inputted a bunch of Shakespeare into her. And she pointed out the homoerotic themes in the blah, 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 blah. I was so bored.
So she's got the standard English GCSE.
Yep. Lex is in a different room and she finally gets a signal on her phone. So she calls 999, but it gives you a message that the emergency services have been suspended in London.
What?
So, yeah, she's like, the emergency services have been temporarily suspended in Greater London. If you're in a fire, leave the building. Is basically what it says.
But how are they going to leave the building? Because they've been locked in it.
Well, so at this point, I'm like, so either Daisy is everywhere because of all the keys, she's just fucking with her from the inside of the house. That's what I got from that.
Leave the building.
Yeah,
so go out the front door.
Yeah, if it's on fire, please leave. Like, we can't send you a fire truck.
Yeah, we can't send you. What?
Turns out Daisy's been recording them. They find out that Daisy's been recording them the whole time.
All right.
I was hoping it was for a really fun hidden reality TV show. It wasn't. Mm-hmm. Then Leo, one of Daisy's screens has, because I think Leo had set up camera. That was it. I think Leo had set up cameras and started filming them to input them. Bear with me on this one. Input them into Daisy. But then the whole time they've been there, Daisy carried on recording. So one of the screens is like the live feed. So like Leo is stood in front of it and he's doing all the things that Leo is doing.
Yeah.
And then he's standing with his back to the screen and the Leo on the screen does something and then Leo in real life does it. So the screen does it first.
The same thing.
The same thing. So Drew is like, what the fuck is that? And Leo, then they kind of switch over and Drew does it, right? And the reasoning is that because Daisy has been recording them, she is predicting their movements, like in chess. So,
I start off with these films with such promise that Penny brings. Yeah. I'm so
excited
with some of them. And then they just end with...
well, the internet picked this one, so there you go.
If anything, Dan picked it. He voted for this one.
Yeah, you did pick this one.
You've got yourself to blame.
Yeah, but I thought it had promise.
Yeah.
It had promise.
So, like, it shows, like, so Drew tries to look at the screen, and when he looks at it, it goes all fuzzy. And Leo's like, yeah, because...
Internet ghost.
Well, he's like, the present self looking at the future self that makes it not work. Or something more eloquent than that.
The best part of this, which people can't see, is Penny's hand movements, because she's like moving stuff around like on a table. She's like, if something does, and she has her hands like constantly moving, like she's doing a dance move.
I'm not.
She's like a fucking magician.
Yeah, it's like a magician. Is this your card?
So Leo's head is getting way worse, and he starts walking around with a bin on his head, like a metal bucket. And he's
Binlid
the hacker, he's here.
Binlid the hacker.
He's turned up.
And he's juggling, and he's like, I can feel her. Daisy's I can feel her in my synapses. I'm juggling right now. You guys can't see this either. And air juggling. And I can feel her in my fingertips. So he's fucking...
Feel her in my toes.
Yeah. And then he plays piano. So I think Daisy's making him play the piano. I don't know if he could play it before, but he had a piano. So I guess maybe he could. No. Let's keep going. There's some dodgy steam that starts coming out of the sink. Lex takes...
just had the kettle in there, or...
The kettle on. We'll make some tea.
I think Drew takes some vodka, chucks it down the sink, And they're like, oh, I think it's reacting with the shit in the sink.
Oh.
Then they cut to Lex taking a pregnancy test. Then they go back to the steam. So the steam is like, I say steam, it's more like smoke, and they're coughing, and I don't think it smells very good. So they take the U-bend or whatever, and it's got blue stuff, and they drop like, I don't know where they're going with it. I think Drew knew what he was going to do with it before I did. Like, he'd worked it out, but they're like dropping it on the carpet, and it looks kind of acidic. So he just throws it at the front door, and it melts the lock on the door, and the door opens.
Please tell me the credits don't roll there, because otherwise I'm going to leave.
Oh.
No, we've got another page yet. So they go outside into...
Page?
Oh, fuck, that might be worse.
That
might be worse.
I'm trying
Page?
So they go out.
Keep going.
They go out onto the landing, and there's a dead girl on the stairs.
Oh.
What?
She's just like, so they're on their landing. There's a little set of stairs, and then there's a dead girl, and she looks like she doesn't look freshly dead. She looks a bit gross. And he's like, Tinkerbell, and she's dressed like Tinkerbell. Oh. And then they go a bit nearer her, and she's a zombie, and she's holding one of the daisy sticks.
Okay.
So she's from the party.
I'm out.
Well, we gotta finish this shit now. I wish I could have quit, but I can't.
Yeah.
So then she like goes at them. So they throw blue stuff at her, and they lock themselves back in the flat.
But they can't lock themselves in because they've just burnt the lock off. They just
burnt the lock off.
Plot holes. So at this point now, Leo's got a big black like hole in him. His body is getting worse. He is grim. He is not looking very well.
Okay. That's what happens when you spend a week in the fucking flat.
Yep.
It's lockdown life.
With moths. Lockdown life.
Next note just says earthquake.
In London?
Of course it does. Yeah.
Well...
Yeah. Tectonic plates, isn't it?
I've written earthquake.
9.4 on the Richter scale.
Well, I've written earthquake question mark. And then they all go, what was that? And Lex goes, an earthquake. And they go, don't have earthquakes in Britain. And then fucking Leo pipes up and goes, well, even though we're this far away from the tectonic plate, Britain has been known to. And they're like, shut up! So apparently that was an earthquake. And then they're hanging out with Daisy, and Daisy puts the news on.
They're hanging out with Daisy now? What do you mean they're hanging out?
Well, they're in the same room.
They're just sat next to a computer.
Well, now they're in the same room as Daisy, because they originally...
Yeah, but Daisy's not a person. It's still a fucking computer.
She's become an AI of her own. She can predict the movements of her fellow flatmates. Yep. What a terrible flatmate to have.
Now she's a flatmate? I bet she's not paying rent.
She's a flatmate. She locked them all in. She's flatmate from hell.
This is like
she's
the
not
last...
paying rent. If anything, she's a squatter.
She's a fucking squatter.
This is like the last 20 minutes. This is the only time anything really happened. So Daisy puts on the news, and it's a news report of a massive cyber attack. Ooh. So they're saying like that's why the emergency services are down. It's affected over 200,000 computers. There's weird blue stuff. Bugs have killed bugs have killed 44 people. And then it shows they raided a bunch of hackers. So they raided, I think they raided like five, they were going to raid 5 places or something like that. And the first 3 they went in, the people were dead, and they were all kind of black and gross. Then they were like, we're still looking for one who's only known by her online handle, Tinkerbell. And then they're looking for the head of the hackers. They don't know his name, but obviously we know that it's Leo.
They all live in the flats up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're all just hanging out up there.
Yeah, they're all in the same flat.
So I mentioned earlier that Lex took a pregnancy test. Anyone want to guess what the outcome is?
Oh, yeah. She has a baby moth.
Close.
Oh, that was going to be mine. I think she's going to have a little small computer chip. Yeah. She's going to give birth to a USB.
What do you mean, yeah? What do you mean,
That's what happens. She squeezes out a USB stick.
Pen, please don't tell me she squeezes out a USB drive out.
There's no squeezing out, but we'll get there. So
no.
Lex is pregnant, and she's like, Daisy made me pregnant, and Lex is really religious, so she starts praying and treating it like the second coming. She's like, Drew, pray with me, and Drew's like, this is fucking nuts. You're all fucking bonkers.
This fun fucking film.
Leo's in the bathroom. He is really grim now. He's like half black and red, and he's looking in the mirror, and he's like, you're a monster. No wonder she's not interested. He means Daisy.
Oh, fuck off. Stop thinking about sex in a time where your head is turned into a moth, you fucking Mothman.
Mothman. Yes, Mothman.
He's like Spiderman.
Mothman.
Spiderman and Mothman.
This is the perfect time for Spiderman to turn up and take him out.
Yeah, he could eat Mothman.
No, but
They
I
sound
hate
like a law firm. The law offices of Spiderman and Mothman.
Mothman solicitors. No, I just hate it in films where there's something serious going on, and the one thing they can only think about is their fucking dick. Like, I hate that shit all the time.
There's a note here written in capital letters, and you know what that means, but we'll get to that in a minute. So he's like, no wonder she's not interested, and the lights flicker, and he's like, no wonder you're not interested. He's talking to Daisy. So he starts painting his nails, he puts on some lipstick, and then he's holding up a dress.
What?
So Daisy likes ladies? Don't know. Dan's face, I wish you could see it right now.
What? So what? So he's got this thing on his head, but he's now, is he being commanded to wear a dress?
No.
Or has he changed his sexuality?
I don't know. I think he loves her. I don't know. He's like, oh, I'm ugly and I'm horrible, and Daisy's not interested in me, so I'll put lipstick on.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Cross-dresser, I don't know what...
Don't know.
What the... Okay.
We're treading potentially dangerous waters here. Let's move on.
Yeah.
No, I just don't understand. I'm trying to understand what
there's no reason for it.
Okay,
There's no
I know.
anything to it. It's never been brought up before.
I look for reasoning in places where there are none. I get it. Yes. Okay.
The next note in capital letters, he's licking and kissing the keyboard. That's the next shot.
I mean, that's not strange.
He's not wearing the
That's
dress.
the bit Dan relates to.
But that's it. He's in love with Daisy for whatever reason.
The thing is, like if you're in love with Daisy, why would you snog the keyboard?
He's literally like,
that's just like a peripheral item, isn't it?
He's got like, so
it's an
you've
accessory to the actual thing.
The shot is almost like down the barrel of the keyboard, and he's laying on one side.
Penny's now demonstrating how to lick a keyboard on stream.
This is fucking weird.
Where's my capture screen button?
This is the weirdest thing we've said.
Got a thumbnail sorted?
It's so
But surely,
bad.
if he was in love with it, he should be like trying to bang the tower.
Yeah.
The squishy buttons. I don't know.
Yeah, not the actual keyboard.
you can't even bang it's just a personality built into the computer. Like, as I said, like licking the keyboard, it's like licking someone's shoe.
Yep.
It's just an accessory to the person. It's weird, but yeah.
So Drew has finally had enough, and he gets a bat and he starts smashing up Daisy. Oh, I forgot to mention that all the windows are shuttered as well, because he's like, I guess as part of his security. And they try and find the keys earlier and they can't find them, but Drew finds them and he opens the window shutters. He smashed up Daisy and he opens the shutters, and there's this really bright white light, as in you can't see anything. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be the fucking end, isn't it? And you can hear sirens and helicopters and fire noises. And I'm like, oh, Daisy is ending the world. That's going to be the end. Mm-hmm. He shuts the shutters and goes back into the flat. Leo is now trapped underneath Daisy and the big metal shelving unit that she was on, and he's literally just saying only flesh over and over and over again.
Right.
So Drew kills him. He just pushes down on him and on Daisy to crush him, and he's like, only flesh. It's terrible. He goes back over to wherever Lex was. She's dead. She's laying, I don't know if she's laying on the couch.
How is she suddenly dead?
She's dead. She is all kind of black and looks burnt, a bit like a mummy or whatever. But there's a glowing little like baby shape in her stomach. Well, in her uterus. You see like a little pink glowy light.
Yeah.
Drew looks like I feel at this point. And then he sees another screen. I thought he smashed all the screens, but he hasn't. And then it's just a shot of Drew's face and the screen, and his finger going towards the screen, and he's gonna touch it, and that's the end. That came out better than I thought it would, because that was boring as fuck, but you guys made it interesting. Thanks.
Sorry, hang on a sec. He touches the screen.
Hold that thought.
And that's the end.
What about the baby?
What's that supposed to signify?
I'm assuming that, I don't know, like that the world is being taken over by this virus. He's lost his girlfriend. He's had enough. If he touches the screen, then he'll get the virus and he'll die too. I don't really. He's obviously looked outside and gone, fuck this shit. But then he's just going to die in that flat with Daisy.
And there's going to be a baby virus, I assume.
I feel, yeah.
Do you know what would have made this better?
Anything.
Is if when he opened the shutters, it pulled out and you saw a 5-year-old playing The Sims. It's the only way I could justify this entire film.
That would be a fucking amazing ending.
That's a twist, right?
That'd be amazing.
As opposed to, oh, fuck that, I'll shut the shutters and then do the most predictable thing ever.
Sims just being like burnt alive or moths. Yeah, that would be fantastic. I'd watch that. And it plays into the gamer thing as well.
Yeah, I fixed it.
Andy has fixed this film, and this film.
I fixed a lot of these shit films we've talked about. In fairness,
yeah. Probably.
But again, it wasn't a good shit film. Like we have made that sound more interesting than it was, guys. It was so dull.
Well,
and
that's our job.
Was pretentious and boring, and nothing like the synopsis. I'm quite annoyed, even though it was such a short synopsis. I'd rather watch Killer Sofa again. Actually, I quite enjoyed Killer Sofa. I don't know why I said that. This was shit. Don't watch this.
It sounds a bit like How from 2001.
Yeah, from 2001.
Or that episode of The Simpsons Halloween special.
It just...
But less fun.
I tried to find maybe the budget, because obviously just all being filmed in the flat would have probably been a thing, but it just wasn't. Maybe it's just me, but it was too pretentious and too flowery, like the bits in between, like... So I guess if I was going to tell you about it now in like 5 minutes, I'd be like, guy gives everyone a bunch of USBs with a virus on it. They get trapped in a flat. Some weird shit happens. The virus takes over the world. The end. Like even the weird shit that happens, the computer, like Daisy doesn't even really do anything that's weird. Like the worms and the gunk and the moths all happen.
It's all unexplained.
Yeah, and it all happens too slowly.
The baby's unexplained. It's all...
Yeah.
Crap.
The only reason I could think of the baby was because at the beginning she joked about being pregnant. Like there was the whole thing about like them. I thought the bit about them learning, like her predicting their movements because she'd been watching them and learning about them, was maybe the only interesting bit, and it only lasted about 5 minutes.
Makes sense with the chess piece.
Yeah, because it was constantly playing chess all the time.
I think it's a short film.
Yeah.
Like a 20-minute thing. 30-minute, this would have been all right.
And
Interestingly, the director
okay.
has also directed 2 other shorts. One of them called Ode to a Fuckboy.
I saw that actually when I looked it up. I'm like, I'd much rather watch that, I think.
Why aren't you watching that one?
Because I didn't have time today. But the more annoying thing was, as the boys know, this took me ages to watch because my computer kept buffering and I had to keep going back to it. So that added insult to injury today.
Yeah.
Do you think this is and on this? Do you think this is a prelude to Cats and Dogs, the game? This is how it was made.
No, because it's not a virus.
Yeah, but it does.
It might as well be
affect every desktop around the world.
Isn't that social media, Daniel?
Oh, I don't know, Pen.
So I'm sorry, I'm still a filthy casual, but I tried.
All right, well, we'll try again next time. Thank you very much.
There are 5 laws to create something from nothing.
1.
Distribute being. A single honeybee has a memory of 6 days. A hive, a memory of 3 months.
2.
Accept your errors. Innovation is indistinguishable from failure.
3.
Inherit the wind. Cause unrest and invite chaos.
So our film like that is Pen's Choice 999 I'm blue Ba Dee 99 film from...
Sorry, were you buffering there as well? What was going on?
I went through fucking Eiffel 55. Yo, listen up! No. So, I fucking love that song. I don't care if everyone says it's shit nowadays. I still love it. Anyway. It wasn't even 1999, was it?
No.
Was Eiffel?
No.
It's 98, 97.
Hold the line caller.
96. It was 99. I'm certain it's 99.
I want to do that every time you say hold the line caller.
This is important.
Say a lot. Did you know that they're Italian, Eiffel 65?
Yeah, they did a reunion tour. I watched it.
Why?
Don't judge me.
They had one song. No,
they had 2 songs.
What was the other one?
They definitely had one song.
No, there was another one that was kind of similar.
No, you sing it to me and I'll believe you.
It was kind of similar. It kind of went like dooba dooba doo ba boo ba dee doo ba doo ba doo ba doo ba, like that.
Was it Move Your Body? Because that got to number 3
that's it.
In the charts in 1999. Blue Ba Dee was 98.
Can't believe we're wasting precious time where we could be talking about the excellent film that is Go. And we're talking about Eiffel.
Okay, we're going to talk about Go, 1999 American crime comedy film. Stars a bunch of people. Timothy Olyphant, of course. I wonder why.
Timothy Olyphant, I worked out, is 31 when they recorded this film. It made me feel slightly better, but also slightly weird.
I wonder why.
He makes me feel weird in my pants. Is that where you're applying?
I didn't say that.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Just keep going.
I didn't say that. Scott Wolf. Jay Moore, she said it. Jay Moore. William Fincher. This film is interesting. So.
Can I ask something first?
Yes.
Is it so 90s you couldn't get past the 90s-ness of it? It's fine, whatever the answer is.
I haven't said a word about it. I haven't said a word about it.
No one has said anything yet.
That's why I'm asking you.
You're asking me?
I'm asking you both before we start.
Why don't we talk about it and then we can address it later?
Fine. Okay. I'm too excited.
Yo, listen. Okay, so around Christmas, Ronna is working overtime at her supermarket job to avoid being evicted. And she, one day, is approached by Adam and Zach to buy 20 hits of ecstasy, which they hoped to buy from their absent co-worker Simon, who previously asked Ronna, could she work overtime because he's going to Vegas to have a good old party and could he cover for her shift? She'll get paid for the shift, blah, blah, blah. He'll pay her. So
imagine getting your drugs at a supermarket.
It's the 90s. It's a desperate time.
Going to the supermarket. Oh, my dealer's not here. I'll just ask this other cashier.
I find it weird that they would do it during. It sounds like
while she's cashing them out.
Yeah, like during work hours, not like after work. If you were going to do it behind, in the back alley or something, just during the fucking cashier.
While she's swiping all your OJ. By the way, my dealer's not here. Do you have ecstasy?
Yeah,
it wasn't very subtle.
They do buy OJ though, which is very important later on. I have a note here that says Christmas lights car. Why?
Why do they have Christmas lights in their car?
Yeah.
Why not?
Who the fuck has ever 90s. Done that? Yet alone, no one did that in the 90s. That is, it looks horrendous. Fluorescent lights and fucking Santa Claus on the gear shift. No, thank you.
Love it.
You say that. I saw quite a few people driving with tinsel on their dashboard over Christmas, and I hoped they crashed and suffocated on it.
Wow.
Better or worse than cars with eyelashes on their headlights? Because I hate that.
Oh, that's a good one.
Anyone
who
has eyelashes on their car should be shot.
Yep. Anyone who has a sticker or anything.
What's the one runs on pixie dust? No, it runs on petrol. Karen, shut up.
So after work, Ronna basically says she'll get the stuff for Adam and Zach. So after work, she approaches Simon's dealer, Todd, played by Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah!
For pills in his nice little flat. He is a bit skeptical about the whole thing, about her asking for pills, so he turns up the music and asks her to strip, just in case she's wearing a wire. Especially
because she wants 20 hits of ecstasy, and he's like, that's the magic number that becomes, instead of intent to sell, it becomes trafficking. So that's why he's suspicious. I will defend him to the death.
20 hits?
Maybe in 99. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, I guess 99 maybe.
Yeah, it's like that's trafficking. So that's obviously we find out later that's why they want that specific amount. But
I also find it weird that she just has the bollocks to go hang out with this dealer that she doesn't know.
Big dick energy, isn't
it?
That
money. You need that money, man.
That is.
I fucking hate Katie Holmes in this film, by the way. We'll just put that out there.
Just in general.
Speaking of, Ronna is unable to pay the full amount for the pills, so she leaves her friend Claire, played by Katie Holmes, with Todd as collateral.
That's it, because that's the even bigger dicker energy. So
get your friend to stay with this drug
she
dealer.
Knows. Yeah. So she knows that Todd will sell Simon ecstasy for $10 a hit.
Yes.
When she goes and asks Todd says it's $15 a hit, and she's like, but that's not what you sell it to Simon for. And he's like, but I don't know who the fuck you are. And she's like, well, I've only got $200, so sell me the 20. I'll get the other 100 and then I'll come back. So it's like even bigger dick energy to be like, hey, you don't know me, but sell me a bunch of drugs and I'll bring you some money later.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
So Ronna ends up meeting Adam and Zach at a house, but then someone comes along in the name of Burke. Now, Burke is a lot older. Mm-hmm. And one of the problems I had with this was it's way too obvious that these three guys are cops.
Well, they're not. We find out. Okay. Sorry.
We'll get to that. But
they are the least
basic
subtle
understanding.
Guys.
Yeah, the basic understanding of I can't talk to girls alone. comes into play here, where they're just like, oh, so you go into the... I'm like, you had no problem at the fucking public place in the fucking supermarket going, yeah, do you have any drugs? But when she's there, you're just like tripping over your words. I just found it weird.
And Burke is so much older.
Yeah,
it's
that
like
too.
you've gone to these like Ronna is 17 and they're what, I don't know, supposed to be like 20 something maybe.
Yeah,
and Burke is probably 40. And it's like your dad's turned up with them to buy ecstasy, and you're like, this is weird.
It felt like the dad moment of like, so you got the drugs? It's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
So when asking for a drink, she asked for OJ, and previously the guys bought the OJ, and then Burke says, well, we haven't got any. Realizing what he just said, Adam or Zach, I can't remember, says, oh, no, we got OJ. I left it in the back of the car. I'll go get it, whatever. She ends up going to the toilet because she ends up being suspicious and flushes the drugs down the toilet.
She didn't need to do that.
I always find it weird when someone knocks on the door going, especially if you're having a shit, are you okay in there?
Yeah, me too.
Well, they obviously knew that she was suspicious, didn't they? They were panicking.
They didn't help themselves, let's put it that way. They did a shit job of it, but either
That's
way,
what I know. She didn't need to flush them. Like, she could have hidden them. I know she was panicked.
She could have left.
She could have just
but
left.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Yeah, either way.
Doesn't he try and like look through the window? Like at the top of the door at one point?
Yes,
yeah,
he does.
Yeah.
So she flushes drugs down the toilet and then leaves. She then steals over the counter pills to replace them. These are aspirin.
Yeah, she's got like allergy medicine and baby aspirin and stuff.
So she can replace them. She is helped by Manny.
Oh, I love Manny.
We'll get to Manny a little bit later because Manny steals 2 of these actual pills, of the ecstasy pills, unaware of their strength, and he has a fun night. We'll get to him a little bit later.
I love him so much. I wish he was in it more.
Ronna then gives 20 of the fake pills to Todd. Before that, Todd asks Claire, do you want to get laid for Christmas?
What a question.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Do you want to get laid for Christmas?
For Christmas from Todd.
Oh, fuck's sake, Penny.
I'm leaning into it. Let's go. Do it.
God, you're more thirsty than fucking me or Andy or ever was in this podcast. Jesus Christ.
Don't bring me into this.
Anyway, she gives 20 of the fake pills to Todd. She, Claire, and Manny then go to the rave, where everyone's been talking about the Merry Christmas rave, where the Mary's not spelt like Mary, spelt like a girl's name, Mary.
Because Simon calls him in the middle, doesn't he? That's where that comes from. Because Simon calls Todd while he's sitting there with Claire. And that's that conversation.
Yes. They all go to the rave where she sells the rest of the fake pills as ecstasy, cleverly disguising marijuana under the pills by saying, oh, it really works really well if you take a lot of marijuana with it. Like, the effects are pretty good. As in, these are fake pills, but, you know.
I know she wanted to get Claire
effects.
back, but I feel like if she'd have sold the pills at the rave and then just given Todd his money,
yeah,
there probably wouldn't have been much of a film, to be honest, actually. But that would have been a better idea than
a short
trying
film.
which I'm sure you guys would have preferred.
A lot of different timelines that go on later on in the film, but there's a bit where Manny trips out to the talking cat with subtitles at Todd's. Is that during this bit?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
When they go pick up
Says
Claire.
he's going to die.
Yeah.
I laughed at that bit. That was pretty fun. So Todd realizes the pills are fake. He ends up pursuing Ronna to the rave. Todd, I should say, knows about this because he asked beforehand where they're heading and stuff like that. So they're heading to the Christmas rave party and stuff. Ronna flees when she finds Todd. Manny is completely out of it at this point. He, even early on before...
Yeah, he should not.
Yeah, early on before, I forgot to mention, while he was at the checkout, he was having a bit of a moment with the checkout girl where he danced to the Macarena.
Yeah.
With the banana and stuff.
It's so fucking weird.
Who doesn't want to get covered in green beans at a supermarket?
Me. I don't.
So Manny and Ronna flee, leaving Claire kind of in the rave.
Because Manny took 2 and he really, really shouldn't have because they were really strong.
Yeah.
So he is now not having a nice trip. He's not having a good time.
He's tripping hard. But Ronna ends up leaving Manny in an alley, promising to return to him with the car as soon as she can get to the car. And he's just kind of in between 2 dumpsters and she's covering it with a bit of like metal or something. I can't remember.
So I couldn't work out.
Yeah, corrugated iron.
Like, spoilers knowing what happens later, that was a good idea. But part of me is like, you've covered it so no one could find him. You should maybe leave him somewhere I know she thinks she's coming back.
Yeah, it's weird the alleyway they go down because it had so many corners. I don't know if it was because Manny, we were seeing it from his point of view and he was tripped out and everything, but it seemed to be like a long list.
But like she struggles to find him later.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
She should have put him somewhere nice out in the open.
I mean, it's better that he was covered up.
Where Todd could find him.
Yeah.
What's Todd going to do by that point?
Has a gun.
It's not Manny's fault, is it?
No, he wasn't after Manny.
Anyway, Rana ends up trying to find the car, and then Todd confronts her with a gun in the parking lot. And then the film gets interestingly weird, as a yellow car is running around the parking lot weirdly, and it's kind of seen in frame for a bit, not really anything to pay attention to. And then it hits Rana and runs over her, and she's lying on top of it, while Todd is just standing there with a gun with his arms open going, what the fuck? She's on top of the car, and the next bit that happens is they brake test the car, and then she flies off the bonnet into a ditch, and that's how that bit ends.
They drive off, don't they? And then Todd's just
just drive off.
Todd looks around like, well, that's my problem sorted then. I haven't done anything and nobody's seen me, and he just leaves.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
At this point, I was like, this isn't where I thought it was going, especially when they replay the film again. But this time, they start from Simon's point of view. So we get the whole, can you cover for my shift? Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to Vegas. But we see basically the day he has. He's going with his 3 annoying mates. I mean, Marcus is all right. The other 2 are fucking unbearable.
Marcus played by Taye Diggs, and Tiny played by my lovely Breckin Meyer, and I can't remember the other guy's name.
Sing.
And I can't remember who he's played by, but he's great too.
Simon's obviously going off to a trip to Las Vegas with the 3 guys. Simon ends up crashing a wedding at this fucking bit is so stupid. They ends up crashing a wedding. Then he ends up having sex with 2 of the bridesmaids with his shite Irish accent, by the way, that I couldn't fucking stand.
Because he is very British, isn't he, Simon? And then he could have got away with that with his British accent, I think. I don't know why he needed to be Irish.
Yeah. I don't know either. It was really strange to me, but yeah.
I don't know what it was for.
No.
If it was like the novelty of the Irish accent,
Kiss me,
he could
I'm
have
Irish,
just
couldn't I?
used his...
He could have used his British one to get laid.
Either way.
He's unbearably British, I think, in this.
It's jarring. It's really jarring.
So he brings these 2 bridesmaids into the hotel room, and they're doing a little bit of drugs. One of the girls stuffs tissue up her nose because she says, I can't do it unless I have tissue up my nose.
That's it.
You know the feeling.
They're just smoking a pipe, right? It's just weed.
Yeah.
It's weed, by
So just weed. I'm like, so how? So she can't. She said she can't hold it in if her nose.
Maybe it leaks out of her nose or something. I don't know.
It's just.
I don't know. It's weird to me.
It's basically they're like, we need to start a fire.
Yeah.
How do we get from point A to point B? How do we start a fire in this hotel room? Oh yeah, we'll set fire to these bits of tissue in a girl's nose.
Yeah. So yeah, she ends up lighting it, and then her face with the tissue goes on fire. Never mind, they stamp it out, I guess, and ends up having Simon ends up having sex with the 2 lovely ladies. Lots of naked boobies. But then, for some reason, the fire starts up again. And then even more stupid, I know they're high and everything, but you can't be that high that you don't notice the fucking curtains are on fire to the last minute, like literally ablaze on fire.
Yeah.
And the whole room
I feel
was
like
on
he
fire.
notices, but he doesn't care. The other one's asleep, and she's got her back to the curtains. But yeah, it would be hot. Like you would feel like.
Well, and they'd be able to hear it as well.
No, because she was making all her sex noises.
Well, if she shut the fuck up for half a second, she would have had the flies roaring.
Andrew! There's no way to talk like that. So they set fire to the room. He runs out of there naked. He ends up finding Marcus. They end up leaving the hotel. Stealing Ferrari because the guy who owns the Ferrari thinks Marcus is a parking valet. He also, earlier on, while he's in the toilet, the guy leaves him money thinking he's a bathroom guy as well.
He's got this awful mustard blazer on that makes him look like he works there.
Yeah.
I don't mind the mustard blazer. It's all right. He's the only good, he's the only well-dressed one out of all of them, to be honest. So, Anyway, they go to a strip club.
Wait. Is there anything more 90s though than they steal the Ferrari and it plays "Steal My Sunshine" by Len. I couldn't think of anything more 90s apart from Smash Mouth on that. It was fucking great.
That's pretty 90s.
They find a gun in a Ferrari and they go to a strip club where I think Marcus says to Simon, whatever you do, don't buy the champagne. Champagne just means you want a private dance. Don't buy the champagne.
You can't afford it.
You can't afford it either. Immediately after going in, he sees two girls and he asks for the most expensive drink they have on the menu. Then they get a private dance. They leave their cards, or Simon leaves his card with the bouncer, Victor Jr., and he says, no matter what, don't touch the girls. The only rule we have. And of course, Simon gets a bit grabby.
A bit.
And he grabs one of the girls.
Oof. He gets two massive handfuls, doesn't he?
He does.
I find it weird that they're back-to-back getting lap dances.
That is also weird, right? You would, I wouldn't...
Is that...
Not saying that me and Andy go strip club, but if me and Andy went strip club, I wouldn't go back to back with Andy. It just felt weird.
Yeah, but that way you can't see each other's boners, right? That's why you're back to back. Is that how that works?
Yeah, but I wouldn't feel his presence behind my shoulders and be like, is he okay there? I don't... It's too much. Anyway. So yeah, he ends up getting grabby and Simon, with the gun, ends up shooting Victor Jr. in the arm. And he and Marcus flee back to the hotel. They get Tiny and Sing. They end up getting in the room, start packing the stuff away, saying, we gotta go. So his dad, Victor Jr.'s dad, basically, who also owns the club, I guess, as well, is taking out the bullet out of Victor Jr.'s arm. And they end up tracing the guys down, trying to catch these guys at the hotel. They end up getting to the hotel. There's a big old car chase scene that goes on through parking lot, through fucking an alleyway. They do the Austin Powers technique of getting the car stuck in between the alleyway so they can't move it either way. And they pretty much escape.
Wait, so they're driving...
For a long sequence?
Yeah, they drive down that really tight alleyway and then there is a truck. They're in like a big Hummer or something behind them and then there's a truck appearing at the end of the alleyway. So they don't want to hit the truck. So he swerves into the wall, which then turns the car sideways, like you say, like Austin Powers. So then the Hummer just smashes into the side of them, pushes them out the alley, and they drive off.
There's no way that car would still be able to be driven.
No.
After they were here like that.
It was fucked.
And then the Hummer, because it's pulled out, it hits another car, doesn't it? And it turns over, and that's how they get away.
Yeah.
So they get away, but Victor Sr. still has the credit card. And he is able to trace the card, and where'd you behold, it's traced back to Todd's address.
Everybody's fucking with Todd in this movie. Fucking Ronna's trying to fuck him out of drugs and money.
You want to be fucking with Todd.
Yes, Dan, you're getting it. You're getting it. Leave it in. But I just feel bad for him. All this shit that he's getting from these assholes.
Yeah, he does, but he's... whatever. I don't know if he's a good guy in all this, but I don't really know who the good guy in any of this is, but either way.
He's a drug dealer. Of course he's not a good guy.
Well, Anyway, so the story goes all the way back to the start again, and this time, finally, from, probably the second last perspective, because we do get another perspective towards the end, we get the perspective of Adam and Zach, who, at the very start of this, we see them on the television screen, where the guys were working at the shopping place, which leads us to believe these two are actors, which plays into the whole, they're actors with the police, but we don't know why he was working with the police if they're actually soap opera actors. So they got busted for drug possession, and so because they got busted, Burke, the dad,
he's so creepy,
of the group, ends up going, you're going to work for me, you're going to wear a wire. I think, is it Zach that wears a wire down his pants?
Yeah. Scott Wolf.
Yeah, Zach.
Adam.
Oh, I don't know which is which.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. So he ends up working with those two because they busted them for drug possession. And so they're trying to find the dealer for drugs. Ronna ends up going to the flat and everything. And we get that scene again. However, the little detail that we didn't see the first time is that Zach goes up to her during that timeline and just says the word go to her. That's why she ran to the toilet.
90s film. Yeah. There's the title. Boom.
Yeah,
we've done it, boys.
Okay. They said about 7 times in this film.
I mean, it's the word go. It's not like it's.
I know.
But that was the point. He says because obviously they go to the supermarket and they're looking for Simon, and Simon's not there. So Zach, I only know them by the actor's name, Jay Moore. He says, like, well, what if she's not a dealer? What if you've just kind of roped her into this and it's entrapment? Kind of is, really. She's not a dealer.
It is.
And he's like, well, we do what we did with you. We arrest her and then we get her dealer and we go on from there. So, yeah, I think he does feel a little bit bad. And he's like, I don't think she normally does this. And now she's going to get in shit because of us. So that's also, they were not very subtle, as we pointed out earlier. But yeah, he did go he did tell her to get the fuck out.
So another detail I missed out. They're secretly gay because when I think Burke asked about his other half and stuff and how Zach said, oh, she cheated on me, she was unfaithful. And then he said, how did that happen? And then Adam or Zach, I can't remember which one, says, yeah, how did that happen? Because I guess he's using the same story that happened to him with his partner and he's copying it. Yeah.
It's so weird because Jay Moore, whichever one he is in the car with the cop. And instead of being like, hey, do you have a girlfriend? He goes, hey, what does your girlfriend look like? Like, it's really... And then he just describes Scott Wolf. But yeah, he makes me really uncomfortable, that cop in this movie.
It's about to get a bit more uncomfortable, but so they end up fucking up the bust, obviously, because Ron ends up leaving, flushing everything down the toilet. But Burke invites Adam and Zach, weirdly, to a Christmas dinner at home, where they start to observe strange behavior from Burke and his wife.
Jane Krakowski. From Lally McBeal fame.
Ali. McBeal.
If you say so.
Burke ends up bollock naked and showing off his Chanel, Hugo Boss
CK1.
shave off. CK1, sorry.
I could hear Andy being cross at that in my head when I watched it. I don't know why. I could just hear you being like, for fuck's sake.
About what?
Just why he was just standing there stark bollock naked and you just being like,
well, we knew why he was flirting with him. He had him in handcuffs earlier.
Well, yeah, but
my assumption was he wanted to bang him and he separated them deliberately so he could try and jump on his dick.
Test the bed's springiness. Yeah, test how the bed springs have function on it. And then wife Irene flirting with Adam. She's talking about pretend kissing, being an actor, and he's saying the technique they use, and then she eventually kisses him. But then they eventually have dinner. Two of them are kind of freaked out by the whole thing. They obviously, I'm thinking, and I guess most of the audience is, they're trying to proposition them to have a foursome or something. Like something's going on here.
Yeah, swingers.
However, over dinner, Burke and Irene pitch a multi-level marketing company to Adam and Zach.
Nothing like a good pyramid scheme.
Discussing the furniture. So I was like, what?
Yeah, they want them to sell Amway, which I think is a thing again now, but it was a big thing back then. And I did look it up. It's technically a pyramid scheme, but now it's not officially a pyramid scheme. So they managed to get away with it.
Right.
But it was a lot of furniture. Like you could literally get everything. It was really weird. You could literally get, like they say, he got his clone and they get all the furniture
Wholesale.
and the food. But yeah, it's a bit like, I think it's a bit like, not Avon's a pyramid scheme, but you know, they because they're not, that was it. I think because they're not selling the furniture, it's not a pyramid scheme, but because they're recruiting people to sell other people furniture, that's the loophole. But it is a big, especially back in the 90s, it was a big dodgy thing. Yeah.
I just found it weird that they brought that out after doing what they did. Yeah. But either it's just a bit strange.
It kind of like, because I agreed that I thought they were going to be swingers, and then for them to be like, join our pyramid scheme, I was like, so everything before that's just what, on the table? That's fine?
Yeah.
Is that you trying to sweeten the deal? Have a look at my dick, now buy some plates? What's that about?
Yeah, it's a bit strange way to do it, but yeah. During a conversation, Adam and Zach are talking about who they cheated on in the past. They've only cheated on one person, with one person while they've been together, I guess. And they both end up going to the rave, don't they? Standing in the queue for the actual rave. Mm-hmm. Where at the same time they announce Jimmy.
They work it out before the rave, don't they? And that's why they go to the rave.
Sorry.
I think.
They're in the shop buying alcohol or something, and then they end up saying Jimmy, the same person at the same time that they have slept with or had sex with. They end up going to the rave.
No, they go to Jimmy's house to find Jimmy and confront him, and Melissa McCarthy opens the door and she tells him that they've gone to the rave. And that was really odd.
That's why I forgot.
It's her debut role.
To see her. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, young Melissa McCarthy.
Oh.
And originally I thought she was fangirling because they were on TV, and then she was like, oh my God, you guys know, right? Because one time you missed each other by like 3 minutes and it was really exciting.
Yeah. Jimmy is at this same rave that everyone's at, obviously, in the story. They end up going to the rave and then trick him into cutting a lock of his hair because revenge is sweet.
That's great. Imagine going all the pettiness to go all the way to this rave. He's got lovely long hair.
Just
to go
to cut
and
some hair.
cut a chunk of his hair off is Petty Bennett approved.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's Petty Bennett levels of
Yeah, she loves it.
petulance.
So they leave the rave. Then they get into a yellow car, and I'm like, oh, it's them, isn't it? So they are the ones that accidentally run over Rana. They reverse into her, basically, and then panic, and then put her into a ditch. They see Timothy or Todd, and he's just standing there. Obviously, can't really make out his face that much, but he's just like standing there going, what the fuck? And they drive away when they see Todd with a gun. So Zach tries to reassure Adam that even if she survived, Todd with the gun probably would have shot her. So either way, she's probably dead anyway.
It's fair logic.
There's nothing they can do about it.
Like, it's not great, but
It is. Like,
Yeah.
he made sense.
I thought that, I'm guessing Todd was trying to kill her anyway, so
Yeah.
he would have checked to see if she was dead and then killed her there, but
I think he just thought
happen, I guess.
she's got, maybe he wasn't even going to kill her. Maybe he was just going to like shoot her in the leg. I don't know. But like maybe he's like, I don't want to fucking touch her because I don't want my DNA on her. Like, she's either dead or she's learnt her lesson. I figured.
So at one point, Adam realizes his horror when he goes to the toilet. And he realizes he's still wearing the wire down his pants. Jesus Christ, man. Seriously? You would have noticed something like that, but either way.
I was going to say, are they that easy to forget you're wearing?
I mean,
I don't know.
maybe he just had an eventful day and he completely forgot about it. That could happen, but I would have thought you would have realized something.
So he was
somewhere.
wearing it the whole time they had dinner as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Burke would have heard
And
him
the
like
rave.
making out with his wife.
And driving the car and the whole fucking thing.
I love that they're like, oh, maybe we just say we were running lines. Like, we were pretending to talk about a dead girl. Like, we were actors. We're pretending that would definitely work. That definitely won't work.
They're fearing that they have been recorded. The two return to the scene to remove Ronan's body, but discover she is just unconscious and not dead. So they prop her up on another car, setting off its alarm, and watch from the distance as other party goers call an ambulance for her. And they're all like, it's okay. She's not dead. Someone's going to get an ambulance. It's all right. It's okay. Stop crying.
Like, she's going to be fine. Is she?
It's not much of a distance, though, is it? It's about 5 meters.
Suspicious distance away.
Yeah.
I would say suspiciously close.
Yeah.
Yeah, suspiciously close to the scene. Yeah. So we then kind of get the fourth perspective, but we don't go back in time. We just get the morning after, because poor old Claire, as morning breaks, she's looking for Rana and she has no idea who she is. She's hit by the car and lying on another car.
I'm amazed she was still at that rave without being like, Claire doesn't take any
Yeah.
drugs. Like,
I would have gone home by then. I'd be like, fucking hell, where the fuck she's gone?
Well,
Like, no one else to hang out with.
well, I was going to say, I assume, because she then goes and looks for the car and waits for the car and they don't turn up.
Oh, yeah.
I would have thought she maybe either would have been like, would have done that earlier and got the same thing. But then she walks
Yeah.
after that anyway. So she could, I mean, do you really want to walk home in the dark after a rave? I don't know.
Claire is the only one who's the bit of the, like, out of everyone, she's to me the weirdest character,
She's so
because I don't
annoying.
know. It's not annoying, but like, she's a bit strange with her whole intentions with Todd and like
Well, she's this,
them waiting up for everyone to at the party.
yeah, this very prudish, like, Todd asks her if she's a virgin, because obviously she's really uncomfortable at his house because he's a drug dealer, but he asks her if she's a virgin and she's really awkward and she's like, don't leave me there, I'm an accessory, and she clearly doesn't do drugs and things like that. So yeah, the fact that she's last one up at a rave without being on E, like, how she's even awake as a very sleepy person.
She's first one there, last one
Yeah,
out.
I'm impressed. And then, yeah, when she gets to see Todd later on, her whole character kind of changes.
She's the kind of girl that makes me think she would make everyone sandwiches at the rave. You know?
That's the thing. Sandwiches at a rave.
Yeah, she'll like have a packed lunch and she'll throw in like an extra packed lunch just in case anyone needs one.
Like a wagon wheel.
Not like a proper packed lunch, like a school lunch. That's as morning breaks. Claire goes to the restaurant where she usually meets up with Manny and Ronna, but instead, Todd is sitting across from the room. She ends up going up to Todd, chatting with him, thanking him for paying for her breakfast, blah, blah, blah. He's thinking...
Again, where did she get that big dick energy
the
from?
balls from her after her friend fucking stole
Yeah.
fucking money from me and all that. But
And
I
she's
think,
assuming he doesn't know.
I think he likes that, though. I think he likes... She kind of has... I don't know if he knows that he knows what he knows about Ronna, because she would have gone up to him and gone, you fucking asshole,
Yeah,
why
so
didn't you
she
do something?
doesn't know.
She doesn't, so they end up falling for each other. I hate when this happens in movies. Why would you have sex on the stairs?
It's because they can't keep their hands off each other.
But it's
You never
so
done that?
uncomfortable.
Well, you don't.
No, I don't want to. It's so uncomfortable, though.
Yeah, no, it's because you can't keep your hands off each other, Dan. You just,
It is uncomfortable.
yeah.
They end up making out on the stairs, and they are confronted by the two victors. Hey! And they're like, well, we've traced the card back here. Where do you think Simon is? And Todd is more than helpful.
I love that.
To tell him where Simon is, while Claire is like, what the fuck?
Draws him a map.
Yeah, draws him a map.
And then he's like,
there he is.
actually, the traffic gets pretty bad on La Cienega, so maybe you should go this way.
Then you can kill him. Claire's a bit like, what the fuck? You're just allowing these guys to fucking kill him? It's like, yeah, okay. By this time, Simon arrives into Todd's flat, and he's like, oh, shit, these guys are here. So they come up with a deal, but because Simon shot Victor Jr. in the arm, Simon agrees to be shot in the arm by Victor Jr., and Claire kind of just has enough and leaves. Todd is enjoying every moment of it. He's kind of like excited about it. And she leaves the flat, hears a gunshot, and all you hear is Simon going, I'm all right. Like, very casually.
So
shot in the arm.
he draws an X on his arm, on kind of like his bicep. He's trying to find the squishiest part. And he holds it out, and Victor Jr. pretty much almost puts the barrel of the gun
Straight to it.
right to it. I was like, wouldn't that blow his arm off? Like, if you shot him,
Yeah, like the power of it.
power of it would at least shred your...
It's not a big enough gun to do that.
Okay.
But
You still wouldn't be like, I'm fine.
if it's pressed against the skin, you'd definitely burn it.
Oh, yeah.
Like you would burn it as well as shoot it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Meanwhile, Ronna wakes up in the hospital and hobbles to the supermarket to start work. After a while, I think Claire asks her, where's Manny gone? She realised she left Manny at the rave behind the dumpster.
Questions. So, because Claire goes, doesn't want to see Simon get shot, and she's like, oh, I've got to go to work. So we're assuming this is the next morning. So they let Ronna, she got hit by a car, and there was a bit of her like hair left on their windscreen. So she gets hit by the car she's unconscious, and they let her out of the hospital, and she goes to work the same day as Claire.
Well, doesn't she discharge herself?
She just leaves. She just leaves though.
And then
I think she's just like, what the fuck am I?
And then she just goes to work. So it's still just the next morning, which
We've all had them nights.
not when we've been hit by cars. Not that I've ever been hit by a car. That makes it more impressive that Katie Holmes has gone to work and she's not had any drugs.
Fair play. They end up going back to the venue to find Manny pale and shaking in the alley. The three go back to the Christmas car, Ronna's car, where Ronna muses that she can now pay her rent and has $20 more to spare. Yay! And Manny asks her what her plans are for New Year's. They drive away, and that is Go. Penny, what do you think of the film?
Yeah. I love this film. I loved rewatching it, even though I knew what was going on and I knew all the storylines. Like when Todd's on the phone to Simon and you can only hear Todd's side of the conversation, and he's listening and he goes, maybe. And I know that that's when Simon going, oh, you're going to fuck her. Like, doesn't matter how many times I rewatch it, and not just for Oliphant before we all have this conversation. But I love this film. I love loads of actors in it. I really want to give it 9 out of 10.
Do what Timothy wants.
I really enjoyed it. I had a great time.
Is this your first 9?
Oh my god, is this your first 9? You can't...
I don't know. It could be an 8.
It is.
I can't work out if it's just because I'm in a really good mood. But I enjoyed this film. It's fun. I like everyone in it. It is fun. I like it. I'm going with 9. Fuck it. If nothing else, Timothy Oliphant's pointy sideburns. There you go. 9.
I'm absolutely gobsmacked.
Well, we know that Penn will never be a film critic. Anyway, Andy, what's your thoughts, Andrew?
Well, Daniel, I think there's 2 categories of 90s films.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's crap ones and there's good ones.
Are you referring to the hackers between hackers and then
There's like the hackers that sort of don't make sense and they don't stand up that well.
Yeah.
And there's the kind of, let's say, Snatch, Lock, Stock kind of film.
Yeah.
That does hold up and is okay.
Oh, it's not Lock, Stock good.
I'm going to put this in the latter category because it reminded me of Snatch quite a lot. The 3 varying stories that all sort of meld together in the end, different character perspectives on things. I was pleasantly surprised. I had not slept for 40 hours when I watched this, which might be swaying my decision, but it was not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, that's all I can ask for. I'm taking that as a win.
It's got that kind of Kevin Smith vibe to it in terms of some of the dialogue. It's witty, it's clever. Soundtrack is very 90s, but it's good 90s with like Massive Attack and Fatboy Slim and No Wife Was 65. That's a down note.
That's a down point for me.
But it was not as bad as I expected.
This is making me so happy right now.
I think this might be the best film she's put in the hat.
That's fair.
Wow.
I can't think of any other ones that have been this enjoyable to watch.
How much pills did you take before this?
Well, I hadn't slept for 40 hours when I watched this. I've now got a migraine, so, you know, we should readdress this next week and see if it's the same score.
No!
But
No!
I'm going to give it a soft 7.
A soft 7.
That's better than I was expecting.
Okay. I, too, thought it was going to be shit. However, when the whole twist of, it goes back in time and it's seen it from different perspectives, there was a bit of like a thrill to it, because I was like, who the fuck was driving that yellow car? That was like trying to, like, there was mystery to it, which I didn't expect from this kind of film. I thought it was just going to be your stereotypical 90s film, you know, your teenage bopping film.
All right, Grandpa.
With their music and their
Bop into your Eiffel 65.
their MTVs and their, you know, Eiffel 65s and stuff. I thought it was going to be a bit like that, you know, your kind of druggy stoner comedy kind of thing. It's not bad. It's quite funny in places, I would say. I think Adams and Zach's kind of storyline was the one that I found the funniest, because it was just weird and awkward, and yeah. It's all right. It's okay. I think it doesn't do too much of a 90s thing to make it cringy. I also think it's just enough, you know, 90ness about it that doesn't make it into cringe territory. I think it's watchable. I think it's actually watchable, and it's nothing amazing. The story's not mind-blowing or anything, but it's just absolutely fine.
This is how little they think of me and my choices, guys. This is making me so happy.
Well, I'm being honest.
This is what they wouldn't tell me anything, and usually it's because they hate it. So,
yeah,
I'm
for the
surprised.
whole time you're probably thinking, oh, they hate it,
Yeah,
they hate it, they
I
hate
did.
it. We don't hate it. I also don't think it's absolutely amazing, but I think it's okay. So I'm going to give it a 6. Above average. There you go.
1 below average.
Above average, please. My 5 is the average. So it's not bad. I'm sure it's up there in the top 20 now with those scores combined. So there you go, Pan. Are you happy now?
I am happy. I'm happy you enjoyed it. I love that you think so little of my choices. I hope some more of them surprise you. They probably won't, but I'm hopeful that maybe one of them might.
I would definitely say this is a film I'd watch again, but I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to watch it.
No, like I said with the
But
rewatching.
if it's on, I'll watch it.
You can, even though you know what happens, you can rewatch it without it being too spoiled. Yeah.
So, film out of the hat. It's like a film. We'll watch it in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully you all watch it too. Let me get my drum roll ready. That's what I should have done beforehand. I'm such an idiot. And the film we're going to talk about in 2 weeks' time is...
Is it mine? You're making a face. This is when I wish you guys could see this.
Now, I'm not too fussed about this.
God.
However, it's not going to get the best reactions from you two. I maybe one of you might be like, yes, this is a great film to talk about in context of it's a great film
Whose
to talk
is it?
about. The film is from my choice.
Oh.
We are watching the 1995. I don't even want to say it. I'm so scared.
You put this in to be a prick, didn't you, Daniel? Am I going to be mad at you?
I honestly think it's worth talking about. Like, before I say what the film is, I honestly think it's worth talking about. I know you're going to get angry in a minute.
Notice he says
I'm just putting his offense wall up.
he's not saying it's worth watching. So you guys don't obviously need...
It is worth watching.
Here's what I think, Ben. He says it's worth watching, but it's going to have a conversation. 95, I reckon, is going to be Toy Story.
The film out of the hat for in 2 weeks is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie.
Oh, Christ.
Okay. I don't think I've watched this since 96.
Oh, it's so good.
Is
It's
it?
so amazing.
Is it?
Yes.
When you say good, do you mean...
Yes. Pen.
I got
It's so good. It's so good. I love this film so much.
I got genuinely excited, hoping you were going to say Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I could have put that in there, but I think there's just too much in this film. Like, we're going to have a ball talking about this film. There's so much things you can talk about.
I have a genuine question.
Yes?
Has this got any of the Power Rangers that are murderers or dead in it, or is that all the TV show?
I don't know.
I think it's got all of them.
Yeah, it's the original cast plus Jason.
Yeah, Jason's at cons all the time. Johnny Young Bosch didn't kill anyone. The red one, is he the one that killed someone, or was that the TV show?
No, he was in the recent...
No, that's the red one. He killed him.
No, he's in the recent Power Rangers No, he didn't. I don't know. It's got the girl who everyone loves, Kimberly. Like, I had a huge
one.
fucking
She
crush on her.
died, didn't she?
No, that was the yellow one.
No, she's not dead.
The yellow one.
But I think that's again...
The blue one died, I think.
The blue one. God, so respectful.
No, they're
the
all
blue
alive.
one
They're all
dies.
alive. I think it's the TV show that had the dead
when a
ones in.
mysterious giant egg releases the terrible Ivan Hughes, remember that guy, great villain, who starts terrorizing the Earth, the Power Rangers head to a distant planet to get help from an ancient warrior. This came out in 1995. It is great. I can't wait to watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. So there's like a couple of like cartoonish ones. This is the live action 1995. This is one everyone kind of remembers from the 90s. So I love this film. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Join us for After Dark. We're back. Yay! When this episode comes out tomorrow, we'll be back on YouTube. We're doing it monthly now, in case you didn't know about the news. We're doing it every month at the start every month. Penny, what's the social?
Oof, I'm not ready.
I should be on radio.
You can follow us, or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Unusual Suspects Pod, and you can find us on Twitter at Unusual Podspect. I'm at Penny_photopit.
I'm at T-Rex.
Is that a Power Rangers thing?
Transform into... fucked it up. At Dan Talks a lot.
Was it? Oh, what was the cool dinosaur in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Yeah,
No?
there was a lot of dinosaurs,
Yeah.
Penny. They're all dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I can't wait.
At Joyce is 21.
It's morphin time. Anyway, we'll be back.
I've never seen him so excited.
I'm going to have a really fucking bad time, aren't I?
He's going to
Yeah.
absolutely slate this film, but like...
I'm not excited. I'm not going to lie.
I'll be honest, I picked it because it's trolly, but at the same time, it's going to be a classic episode. I can already feel it.
5.2 on IMDb.
That's higher than average for most of your films.
Yeah, I know.
Steve. Anyway, so we're back next week for more film stuff. And we love you all.
Love
See
you.
next
Bye.
week. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, Andrew.
More fun time.